Hey guys, happy Friday. Just checking in on the new boy. He built a cute little bubble nest last night. These bubbles are giant compared to a normal betta, which makes sense, but I just think it's funny how big their bubbles are when they're bigger fish. He's doing pretty good. He seemed a little bit stressed out. Not very active. I don't think it's the temperature because it's up to 60, 78, I think. Oh no, it's still at 76, like 77. So it's not, he shouldn't be cold. He might just be settling in. But I'm going to keep an eye on him. I don't think the filter's bothering him. It's really not that heavy of a flow unless you just get right under it. And he's so big that he'll have no problem swimming out of the current, even if it does take him away a little bit. So I think he's probably just settling in. You can see he kind of darts up to the top for air and then goes back down to the bottom. So we're going to keep an eye on him. He's eating, which is good. I don't use the bubble nest as a signifier for anything because even sick fish will make bubble nests. So the fact that he's eating though is good. He's not clamped. He's just kind of lounging around, and he might just be a lazy fish, so we'll see. Still haven't thought of a name for him. I'll figure it out eventually. Cute guy. And while we're in here, we'll look at the patoti. I'm debating on doing two things. There's a baby right here. Yeah, like I said, I'm debating on doing two things. One is I'm gonna have 2 10-gallons free downstairs once I move the guppies, which I hope I'm gonna get to do today. I keep saying I'm gonna do it and then stuff keeps coming up, but hopefully I'll get that done. I'll have 2 10-gallons open. So one thing I'm thinking is take these babies out and put them in their own 10 gallons so they can start growing faster. See, there's 3 right here. 1, 2, 3. And that allows the pair to breed again. The other thing I'm thinking is taking another pair out of the tank downstairs and putting them in this tank once I clean it out and set it up. So they can start breeding too. And then the third thing I was thinking is maybe just putting the babies down here for grow out and not setting up another pair, and then just using the empty 10 gallons downstairs to do other spawns. So still thinking about what I'm gonna do. I do need to do a water change on this tank. Let's see, we've got 1, 2, I just saw a bunch over here. 3, there's 1. 4, 1 in the front. 5, if you guys can see that guy swimming through the bushes. Ooh, there's 6. There's 1 down here. So, thinking that's it. I don't think there's that many. But they're big enough now that if and when Daddy starts holding again, they're gonna be able to eat the fry. So I'm leaning towards taking them out, letting them have their own tank, and letting Daddy and mommy make more babies. I don't think he's holding yet. He's hiding in his log though, which is usually a good sign. Having a hard time focusing because I'm wearing a white shirt and the light from this tank just creates so much reflection. Oh, bother. Okay, there's a pretty good look. I don't think he's holding, but we can do the beta pregnancy test. Not kidding, but give him some food, and if he eats it, he's not holding. He bit at it, but he didn't chase it. So maybe he's holding. The cool thing about these guys that I've noticed, a lot of wild betta species, you always hear keep 2 males for every female if they're mouth brooders, because the females will often spawn with a male and then he's holding, and then as soon as he releases the fry they want to spawn again. And what I've noticed in this species is that the males pretty much, if they don't want to spawn, they're not going to spawn. So like they raised up these babies, they haven't spawned since, and these babies are at least a month old. They don't grow very fast for me because I don't give them a bunch of live foods and stuff, but I'm not trying to grow them fast. Look at him next to Daddy. So cute. If I can zoom in, can you see his little stripes coming in? Oh, it's not going to focus. You can just barely see his little stripes. So cute. Are you holding? He might be holding. We'll have to keep an eye on him. So we'll see what I do. I really would like to take another pair out and let them breed. Just so I can get a good group of babies going again like I had last year. And at the same time, do I really want to be... Last year I had so many babies I hardly knew what to do with them. So I'm not sure if I really do want to have that many babies or if I want to just keep one pair. I only had one pair to start with, and they were so prolific that I ended up with like 100 babies last year, which, you know, depending on who you talk to is not a lot, but for me, 100 patoti babies is a lot, because they get big. It's not like you can keep 100 of them in a 20-gallon like you can like domestic betta fry when you're spawning them. So look at all those babies. It's so funny to see them out and about after they were so skittish for so long. Okay, I'm gonna stop staring at these guys. Oh, he's getting mad now. Maybe he just likes to sleep in late. He doesn't like me looking at that other tank. Grumpy. I like the way his lower jaw is a little bit, I don't want to say deformed, but it's shaped kind of weird. And it looks like he should have a cigar hanging out of his mouth. Big fat stogie. Trying to get him to turn so I can get a better angle. Come here, fishy. Oh well. Gonna try to get my tanks cleaned up and maybe do a tour of like my quote-unquote pet bettas that I keep in my bedroom. My bedroom is where I keep the really special fish, you know, retired breeders and fish that, you know, people given me or bought for me and stuff like that. So, maybe I'll do that this weekend. What's going on with you? Definitely gonna have to keep an eye on him for velvet and everything. Oh, look, there's the patoti. See if he'll flare at her. You can see they're a little bit longer, but as far as like thickness around, they're about the same size. Okay. Really have to get back to work now. You'll have to excuse the screaming children outside. It's so hot that we have all the windows open. Even though it's February, it's ridiculous. But, can't turn the air conditioning on until we, like, turn the dampers or whatever. But, suffice it to say, the annoying children outside are driving me nuts. Anyway, I wanted to show you how I culture my microworms because I'm doing it, so I might as well put it on video. I have old-fashioned oats that I've ground into kind of a flour. It's not quite flour, it's still a little bit chunky. But I just break it down because if you just use the oats whole, I find it's too watery and stuff for the worms. So if you break it down like this, or if you use quick oats, it works better. Then I have some water, I heat it up. So just pour it in there. You know, if you make oatmeal for breakfast, just make a little bit extra, but it's like 6 o'clock right now, so I'm not making oatmeal. So just make it like you normally would, except for the grinding part. Stir it up. Let the water get absorbed, and you have to let it cool down. That's really important. Have to let it cool down to room temperature or colder. So I'm gonna let this sit and get all absorbed, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, after having to add some more oatmeal, I added too much water. Finally got it to the right consistency, and you want it should still fall off the spoon, but it should be really thick. It could probably even stand to be a little bit thicker than this, but I'm going to leave it like that. The thicker you have it, the thicker you have it, the longer it takes for it to get watery, and when it gets really watery, that's when you have to reculture it. So this is the kind of thickness I go for, and normally it's not as chunky. I just added whole oats instead of grinding up more, but that doesn't really matter. What really matters is trying to get it this thick, and there's other things you can use for your microworms. I just have always used oatmeal because that's what I always have around, but baby cereal works. I think cornmeal, there's a few other ones, but I like oatmeal. So I'm gonna finish letting this cool and then take it downstairs and show you reculturing the worms. Okay, so here's my old culture. That's quite overdue for a change, but you can see all the worms. There's some climbing up, but not a lot. But the whole surface has worms on it. So what we're gonna do is take our mixture, and make a mess. That's why you keep dogs under your table, to eat the oatmeal that you dropped on the container. But just put about an inch in the bottom. You don't want a lot because they're not going to live in the oatmeal. They live on top of it. Really. At least that's what I think. anytime I do a culture, I skim off the top of the culture instead of the bottom, and I find that there's not really any worms living in this part down here. They're all up here. So that's a little less than an inch. I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm going to add some over to this cup too. Okay, so I filled them up about an inch, and I added the old culture. As I said, I just kind of skim off the top, and I put about a spoonful. You don't need exact measurements, but you can see the old oatmeal in the center, and you can see all of those worms. That's what's creating that kind of sparkling effect. And now what I do, if I grab it out, is I put a little bit of yeast in there. You don't want to put a whole lot because that's going to cause your culture to stink, but just like a little sprinkling. And that acts as food for the worms. And that's pretty much it. You put a lid on there with an air hole. Important to cover your air hole because sorry, it's late and I'm having a brain fart. It's important to cover your air hole because you can get flies in here and actually get like maggots and stuff. It's pretty gross. The fish like them, but you still keep something, paper towel or filter floss in the air hole, and that's it. Sometimes I wipe the sides when I get the oatmeal on the sides like this, but I'm not going to bother with it. And I'll set these over in a corner somewhere, and in a day, maybe 2 days, these worms will be climbing up the sides again. So that's pretty much it. Look, got a lid right here. Perfect. This one came with air holes, probably from a culture I bought at some point, but even these really small air holes I don't trust. I don't trust some kind of little bug not to get in there, so I'll cut a piece of paper towel that's the same diameter and tape it down so that that's covered still. The last thing I do is write the date on these. You can see the last time I cultured this was January 31st. My cultures last quite a while because I don't keep the oatmeal super moist, and I don't overdo it with the yeast. And really that's it. I actually tend to have to add water to my cultures over time to keep them from drying out, versus a lot of people, their cultures will get really soupy really fast, and that's when you end up having to reculture them like every 2 weeks. I find that this way they don't really smell. I mean, microworms are going to have a bit of a smell in general, but if you don't have your culture super watery, they won't smell as much. I'm just going to mark off that old date and add a new one. I like dry erase markers because you can erase them. Just color over the old writing. What's today? It's February 24th or 23rd. We're going to say 24. So I try not to let these go more than a month between culturing them because they will get pretty stinky. generally 2 weeks to 3 weeks is when I reculture them. And that's really it. I've already talked about microworms and why I like them and stuff. Some people don't like them. Some people think they cause missing ventral fins and all that. You know, I like them. They work for me. So, excuse me. So, I keep using them. So, I'm going to get these put away. The rest of what's in that cup, I'll probably just wash down the drain. Because I don't need it. I don't need to have a bunch of cultures around. So, that's all for culturing. I don't think I'm going to do anything else today that's worth a video. I didn't get my guppy tank set up again. It's been really busy the past few days. So hopefully tomorrow I'll have a lot more time to work with the fish and do a bunch of stuff. So we can feed Susie and then I'll call it a day. So I'm gonna go and get the stuff ready so we can give Susie some earthworms. Okay, here we have some red wigglers. I don't know why I can't say that. They don't look very good. So I'm gonna try to do some reading, see what I need to do for this culture so that it gets a little bit of food and stuff. I think I can just put like composty stuff in here, some veggies and eggshells and stuff, but it also needs to be wet down. I think it's pretty dry. But I put them in some tank water to just rinse the dirt off. And so now we'll see how she likes them. I did give her more crickets this morning, and she liked them a lot better. Yesterday, I think she just didn't know what was going on with those. And now that she knows that they're food, she likes them a lot more. So let's try these, because I've never fed her. Oh yeah. I fed her blackworms before. I never fed her earthworms. Oh, she likes that. That was gone in a second. Okay, I'm only going to give her 2 because I did already give her crickets this morning. You like those, Susie? She's been working on her hole down there, so she might be getting ready to lay eggs pretty soon. She's really funny when she lays eggs because she gets so mean because she's protecting them. Oh, see, I told you it was late. Lights already went out. Alright, well that's it for today. Not very much done in the way of fishy stuff, but tomorrow we'll play with the bettas and move guppies and all that sort of fun stuff. So catch you guys tomorrow.